The following program is paid for by Absolute Mortgage, a division of Pinnacle Capital Mortgage Corporation. Absolute Mortgage Company, NMLS number 81395 and Washington CL number 81395 is an equal opportunity housing lender. Tina Mitchell, MLO number 145420, is a licensed loan originator with Absolute Mortgage. Visit AbsoluteLoans.com or call 888-90-HOMES for cost information. You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell. Sponsored by Absolute Mortgage, a division of Pinnacle Capital Mortgage Corporation. Now, in the studio, local mortgage and finance expert, Tina Mitchell.
Welcome to the Money Hour on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, March 14th show. I'm your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell. I'm here to help you build a strong financial blueprint, 1 week and one show at a time. If you're hearing my show at a different time or day, you're listening to a rebroadcast, but I'm here to answer any questions or connect you with the guest I have in studio. Please call into the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. And in studio today, today's show is all about saying thank you to Mama's Hands and House of Hope for everything that they do to help those in need near or right here in our Seattle area. Their mission is to help those in crisis regain their self-respect and help them become productive members of society. And great information, great guests that I have in studio. Again, I just want to shout out a thanks to Mama's Hands and House of Hope. And it's a very special show, so I encourage you to listen to the entire show because that's what the show is about today, is about Mama's Hand and House of Hopes. Let's go ahead and start out the show, as always, with a little money chat.
Money.
And I gotta laugh because the women I have in studio, they're jamming to the Money Chat song. It's always a happy song. Makes everybody laugh. And what I'm going to share on Money Chat today, 6 repairs to tackle on your home. So for any of those of you listening to the show that are homeowners, or if you're thinking about getting out in the market and purchasing a home, here's some tips for you in repairs. In today's economy, there may be a little delay and skipping over things. If there have been things that you might think that you're trying to save money for, you might lack a little bit or save a little bit trying in the maintenance and the repairs for the home. So having things that don't cost that much are a really good thing to talk about. And so that's what I wanted to discuss today. $200 to $300 that you could utilize, but can save tens of thousands of dollars if you take care of these things up front and tackle them now versus waiting. First is your HVAC inspection. You want to do this on an annual basis. It's going to cost $200 to $300. Again, just once a year. When spring or fall heating, ventilation, and air conditioning or HVAC companies aren't as busy and you're not in as much need to be able to have to use your air conditioning or heat. So being able to take care of this and whip it out is a good time to do that. Consequences of letting it go: a broken heat exchanger, $700 to $1,000 to repair, $750 to $3,500 to replace the indoor or outdoor furnace components. The second one is chimney inspection. Cost is $65 for the inspection, $150 for the inspection and cleaning. How often? Again, you want to take care of this once a year. When? The best time is before your first time in winter, just to get this taken care of. Now, the consequences of letting it go: water from rain can get into the chimney, damage the liner and damper, and even sature the joints, causing mold. So this is going to save from anywhere $2,000 to $4,000 to replace the chimney liner. The third repair to tackle is termite inspection. So the cost for this is $75 to $200 for the inspection, $200 to $300 for the termite protection contract. How often? Again, you want to take care of this once a year. The best time to do it, although termites are more effective in the spring, you want to take care of this in early summer. Now, the consequences of letting this go: an inspection might find termites that can come in from the ground or flying termites. If left untreated, these bugs average homeowner loss in $3,000, but can be as high as $80,000. And I don't know, just having those little critters around the house probably is not a good thing either. So getting it tackled and taken care of is important. The fourth is power washing and sealing wood deck. The cost of this is going to be $100 to $300. So you want to do this every 1 to 3 years, and really any time in a sunny weather is going to be a good time to take care of this. Now, the consequences of letting this go, building algae, mold, mildew, and moss. Wood soaks up the rain like a sponge, so it's by sealing it, it makes the water bead off and roll off, so saving $4,000 to up to $20,000 if the deck has to be replaced. The fifth item to tackle is dryer vent cleaning. So the cost for this is going to be $120 to $200. How often? Again, once a year. The best time to do it is on a sunny day, so we'll take care of this during the summertime. The consequences of letting this go: your home, your furnishings, and your belongings, and your life. So pretty important to make sure that you're taking care of the dryer vent and making sure that that's cleaned. And the last item to tackle, carpet cleaning. Cost $500 to $1,000 square feet if it's getting cleaned. And how often you want to do this? Again, once a year. Anytime really to tackle this when the finances suit and is best for you to tackle this item. The consequences of letting it go: extending the life of your carpet. So if you're not keeping it cleaned, then your carpet's not going to last as long. Replacing 1,000 square feet for a medium grade, including padding and insulation, is going to cost $3,000. So again, taking the incurring the cost of $500 to $1,000 depending on the area that you're cleaning is going to be a lot more effective cost-wise for you. So hopefully for those homeowners out there listening to this, that's a helpful thing for you in being able to save some money. And again, if you're thinking of home ownership, these are things that you just want to make sure that you have in your budget and have the cash available to take care of your home's needs. Coming up next on the Money Hour, the House of Hope in Western Washington provides a safe and secure 24-hour living environment for women and children in crisis. Right here on 1150 AM KKNW.
Mortgage fraud has been rampant since 2007. Many folks don't know they have legal rights. Find out if your mortgage loan has wrongdoings and fraud. Magnum Law Group will do a free audit of your loan documents. Facing foreclosure? Need to stop a foreclosure sale? Magnum Law Group can help. We have experts with valuable knowledge, and we get results. Have you decided to short sale your property instead of a foreclosure? Magnum Law Group has the experience to negotiate better and faster for you.
Hi, this is Deborah with Magnum Law Group. Please contact us at 425-454-4300. You can visit our website at www.magnumlawgroup.com or call us at 425-454-4300.
Doesn't it feel great when you're able to help someone in need? The joy of service to others is often taken for granted, but the reward of kindness is felt as much by the giver as it is the receiver. Sometimes it's difficult to know how and where to reach out to those in need. Mama's Hands has provided a way for you to not only lift the fallen, but to help them stand on their own, believe in themselves, and become strong enough to do the same for others. We need your help. We can change the world together, one soul at a time.
This is Denny Hancock with Mama's Hands. For more information, please check us out at mamashands.org. That's MAMMASHANDS.org. Thank you.
This is the Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, on Alternative Talk, AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage and finance expert, Tina Mitchell.
Welcome back to the Money Hour with your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, right here on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, March 14th show. I bring into studio each week the best of the best experts in all areas regarding your money, and here to help you in all areas that affect your financing. If you're listening to my show at a different time or day or listening to a rebroadcast, you can always call into the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150, or online at themoneyhour.com to ask any questions or information that you'd like to hear on the show. In studio right now, Mama's Hands and House of Hope representatives, just very excited, and it's a special group for me. I'm excited to be able to be part of the House of Hope and share some inspiration with the women, and excited for the women that I have in studio representing House of Hope today. We have Amy Hardeback and Heather Sack. I just want to give a little bit of a background of Amy. Amy is an entrepreneur with over 20 years of experience in for-profit and nonprofit business management and ownership. Amy has focused focused her career on helping small businesses and nonprofit organizations succeed and realize their dreams and potentials. Her broad spectrum of business experience includes retail, private, commercial, and nonprofit, most notably as Director of Operations at Teachers Without Borders. Amy is extremely passionate about business and charity and about creating and maintaining a successful infrastructure, as well as managing all the pieces required for organizational sustainability while enjoying the innate enthusiasm involved in the fulfillment of the organization's mission. Amy is committed to Mama's Hands mission to help people in crisis regain their dignity and improve their lives. In addition to her work as an executive director, Amy volunteers as the chairperson of the Cinderella Project and the Citizens Bond Budget Review Committee, serving in the Kent School District, and is a parent of 2 young adults. Amy, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And also very excited to have a resident for over a year of House of Hope. Now is the House of Hope mother, or the house mother is Heather Saka. And Heather, thank you so much for coming and joining me in studio today.
Thank you.
So let's go ahead and start out with the show again with Mama's Hands. I do want to say I'm just very excited, or Mama's Hands and House of Hope. I'm very excited to have been asked to participate and share my instrumental break with the women. So I've been able to see and experience the home for myself, which is just really exciting. So I want to thank you, Amy and Heather, for allowing me for that opportunity.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for coming out.
Very appreciated.
Thank you very much. So let's talk about, first question I want to ask, because it's the House of Hope is for women and their children, helping them to get to a safe environment, a safe place in their life. And so I'm sure a lot of these women have boyfriends, significant others, ex and spouses. How do you deal with that?
A lot of that will depend on the situation with the specific person. It is, what we try to focus on with the women at the House of Hope is that the time that they're there is to work on themselves, to look ahead in their lives at the goals that they want to accomplish. And so the importance of having a boyfriend is not really what the center of their focus is on.
Okay.
A lot of it would be as well, because their family has been in crisis. It's important that the mother spends the time to be with her children and have the family be able to heal and work together, and as well as the mother have the time to heal. So there might be some of the residents that move in that are possibly dating someone or have someone of interest. But that is something that, depending on the person, we work with them and we like to be able to get to meet that person and take a look at their background.
Okay.
Unfortunately, some have had some unhealthy patterns in relationships. So it's really important that the women stay focused on themselves, their children, their goals, and their future. And hopefully with all of that in place, the right person that they will eventually be with will fall into place after that. It could happen while they live there. That's very possible. But my way of thinking of it is that a relationship while you're at the House of Hope is something that you put on the back burner as you work on yourself to make progress in your own life and be the best person that you can be.
So Heather, what is usually the time frame that the women stay there?
We ask the women to stay for at least 6 months.
Okay.
This allows the family to have a time of stability. It allows the mom to participate in counseling and services, to really think about where she wants her life to be for herself and her children, what goals she needs to accomplish, and really set out a plan for her future so that she's self-reliant and independent.
Sure.
So some women stay for a shorter period, whereas some women decide to maybe possibly go back to school for something like a nursing degree,
okay,
or a different thing like that. So that's where they may end up staying for a little bit longer. We want them to be in a stable situation. If it's that they need a car or they need, we ask them to have money put away in savings accounts. everything just set up in their own lives so that they have the best chance for success possible.
That's beautiful. Amy, can we talk about how you decide who fits this program? Who's the right woman that actually can come in and be a part of this community? And I just, because when I went there, I was amazed. I mean, I was so amazed at, not only is it just beautiful, I mean, it's in North Bend and it's gorgeous and the homes are gorgeous, but just to be in that environment and that atmosphere with all of these women as a community, they're going through the same thing at the same time and really there for support. So to be one of those special women that get to come to the homes, how do you decide that?
Sure, that's a good question, and we get asked that question a lot. We have 3 homes with 9 beds, which means we only have 9 women and their children there at any time. So when a bed opens up, it's usually a sought-after room. The way our program is set up really is for somebody who has kind of hit rock bottom, but is humble enough to realize that they've hit rock bottom. We've had some women come in that, still have some pride issues and maybe think that they're, this is just temporary for, a couple weeks, or maybe that they're better than some of the other women because they haven't had the same kind of problems. Okay. It usually doesn't work out very well for them because what we are really looking for is somebody who really wants to turn their life around and is committed to prioritizing correctly, which is what Heather was just kind of alluding to, but also progress. Whether it's going back to school to get their GED or going to college or being a better mom or getting their driver's license, whatever it is, we're very, very focused on progress. So when we talk to women who are looking for somewhere to go, to a shelter, we're not looking for somebody who's looking for somewhere to sleep for the next week. We're looking for somebody who has made a decision that the way they're living their life is not the way they want to go on. Got it. And they're ready to commit to that change and follow our program.
I was going to say, because there is and I haven't had an opportunity to really hear the breakdown of the program because I'm new in being able to just volunteer some time, and which is I would believe anybody that's sharing anything with the House of Hope or Mama's Hands, it really is a blessing for them more than it is even for the people that they're helping. I mean, that's how I feel. But I haven't had a chance to really see the program, but I know by going in, there's a very structured program that these women are going through. So you go through that initially and make sure that they're on board and engaged for that process.
Right. It's usually a phone call that's pretty in-depth, and then it's an in-person meeting, usually at a local McDonald's or something that's pretty in-depth. It might be then a tour through the facility if it gets to that point. Okay. So they don't come to the home until you've made a decision that that next step is appropriate. Exactly. Okay. And then there's a pretty extensive pile of paperwork to go through. Okay. And it's all background information. And again, if you're not ready to be completely honest about addiction or abuse or anything you've gone through, then you're not ready for our program. Okay. My favorite part about the packet is a page that says what we're not. And it talks about things like curfews and, no alcohol on site and that kind of thing, and says, if you want to stay out till midnight or 1 o'clock, this is not the right place for you. Yeah. If you want to do this, that, and the other, this is not the right place for you. This is optional for them to come. Okay. But they have to follow our rules when they're there. So if they commit to all of those things, then we know that they're ready. And not everybody gets through that paperwork. So Amy, what is it? How many other shelters in our local area, just random on a percentage basis? I mean, are 90% of the shelters just an old-fashioned shelter or what you think versus what Mama's Hands has to offer? Or how unique are you guys in what you offer? Yeah, we're extremely unique in a couple ways. One, we're privately funded, which means that we're not restricted by any kind of governmental rules. It's not about the numbers or how many women we put through in a year. We could have 9 women out there with nobody leaving or coming in for 18 months, and we would be absolutely fine and consider that a success as long as they were all progressing. Of course. Of course, our setting is unique because we have these beautiful homes out in the mountains. A lot of times when people think of shelters, they think of cots in a gym. Yes. And ours is not cots in a gym. They live in a beautiful setting, in nature and in beautiful homes for sure. So, it's definitely. And I think it's great how the rooms, I mean, it's the mother and her children right there together. Yeah. And I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful sight. Yeah, we could easily have a mother and 5 or 6 kids sharing a room.
But the way your space is, like downstairs, it works out perfectly. The way the bunk beds are, the bottom one's a little bit bigger for the mom, and perfectly
it's
thought out.
It's a home environment. It's not cots in a gym. It's definitely coming in. It's almost like a communal home.
Yes.
A sanctuary is what I think Heather called it one day.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't call it a group home, and I can hardly call it a shelter. It's more like a sanctuary.
When I went there and when I talked with Heather, I said, well, the women, they must want to stay forever. And Heather, will you share because I don't want to give, but because I was very surprised. I walked into home 1, house 1, as you guys call it. And house 1 and then it gets graduated to house 2, graduated in every way. And then house 3 is just, it's like a street of dreams. It's just, it's beautiful. And you start at house 1 and you feel like you're on a retreat, and it just keeps getting better and better. So Heather, when I asked that question, the women, how do they actually progress and, do they want to just stay here forever? What was your answer?
I think that the bonds that the women make with each other as friends do last forever. So while they, I think they enjoy being there, it isn't always the easiest thing, but they do progress on and want to move on to be completely independent as their self-esteem and that grows. But I would say that the friendships that are made, they last forever. So even though you might have moved somewhere else, we have residents that still come back even years later to visit and just hang out for the day and bring their kids there and
volunteer.
So it is a community, and it's a group of people that care about each other, and that doesn't go away even though you move somewhere.
Yeah, that makes total sense. So we got to take it to break, but stay tuned. Do not turn the station, because the entire show is for Mama's Hands and House of Hope, which we're really focusing on the House of Hope today, which is women that are homeless and really need help to get to that next stage in their life, that have children. And I think it's just so special. I actually, in my inspiration to share with the women, I wrote a poem for my mom, and it really is, as being a mother, it's a gift, and it's really a gift that you give to your child to help them grow to the person that they want to be. And because of Mama's Hands, you're really in a position to help these women to be the best that they can be for themselves, and the best that they can help their children to grow up to be the best that they can as well. So stay tuned. Coming up next on the Money Hour after a short break, Mama's Hands and House of Hope.
Mortgage fraud has been rampant since 2007. Many folks don't know they have legal rights. Find out if your mortgage loan has wrongdoings and fraud. Magnum Law Group will do a free audit of your loan documents. Facing foreclosure? Need to stop a foreclosure sale? Magnum Law Group can help. We have experts with valuable knowledge, and we get results. Have you decided to short sale your property instead of a foreclosure? Magnum Law Group has the experience to negotiate better and faster for you.
Hi, this is Deborah with Magnum Law Group. Please contact us at 425-454-4300. You can visit our website at www.magnumlawgroup.com or call us at 425-454-4300.
This is the Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, on Alternative Talk, AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage and finance expert, Tina Mitchell.
Welcome back to the Money Hour with your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, right here on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, March 14th show. Each week I share expert advice and inside knowledge on how today's events in our local economy can affect your money. If you're listening to my show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast. To talk with any of the guests I have in studio or myself, you can call into the show at 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. And today's show is about Mama's Hands and House of Hope. And we're putting all the focus on House of Hope today and how they're helping women in the Seattle area and their children get to the next stage in life that are going through some crisis situation and don't have a roof over their head, and really bringing them into a community to help them. And I'd like to ask either one of you to break down the services that House of Hope has to offer to the women. Heather?
Yes. There are multiple services. first off is the counseling. So when the women come in, we begin them in weekly counseling sessions. This is very helpful for all of the women. We have a family development group that we do where the women have a chance to get together without the children and really learn about ways to strengthen their family, to grow as parents. It's a sharing opportunity as well. So we really learn from each other, which is always a great thing in a parenting class. There are a lot of the help that we have is based on the individual. So what we do is we look at the individual and where they're at and what they need. And then based on that is where we move forward. So depending on what any woman or family might need, we also are going to start a children's therapy that will be available for the children that come in as well. There are numerous kind of volunteers that come and do different kinds of classes with the women.
Okay.
Anything from, well, for instance, like your inspirational break, which the women just loved, and it was a wonderful experience for everybody, very uplifting.
Thank you.
As well as cooking classes, art classes. We've had a nurse that will come up to just kind of help with basic health questions.
Okay.
We like to do exercise programs together. We planted our garden last weekend together as a group.
Wow.
So just a lot of chances for the women to bond and to work together and strengthen one another, as well as bringing in professionals who can help on a professional level, and then the volunteers who help in many numerous ways.
So if somebody is listening today, because I can't say, and if there are so many opportunities for us to help each other, and whether it's financial, helping in a financial way, or it's helping in a time way, or it's helping in a talent way, there are so many opportunities. What can a listener do if they want to assist and help?
To get in contact with us and start that conversation.
Okay.
Would probably be the best way. Either emailing info@mamashands.org.
Okay.
Would probably be the best way. And then depending on how they wanted to get involved, Heather usually coordinates the volunteers. If it's a financial type of assistance, then it would go through me. So it kind of just depends on how they want to get involved. But usually, if they can just email me, and then I can assess what it is that they're looking to do and make sure I get them to the right person.
Okay, great, Amy. Thank you. So let's talk about funding. Can you explain to my listeners how Mama's Hands is funded? Sure.
Well, like I said before, we receive no government funding. We're not opposed to government funding. We take all kinds of funding.
Okay.
But we are privately funded right now. We raise about 75% of our annual revenue from our dinner and auction that we hold once a year. It's on May 8th this year at the Newcastle Country Club. And it's a very successful event. In addition to that, we do receive grants and other donations throughout the year. Part of my role as executive director is increasing that revenue through grants. Probably not so much government grants. And the reason for that, again, like I said, we're not opposed to government funding, but
it seems like it could jeopardize the uniqueness of what you guys do, right?
It can be restrictive. And right now, we don't have a lot of restrictions in terms of how many people we need to move through or how many volunteers we need to move through. We can really focus on the mission and the women and the reason why they're there. And I know a lot of other shelters are government funded, and they have to kind of meet those quotas or criteria, and that's just kind of the way it goes. So again, I'm not that we're opposed to that, but it would have to if we received government funding, it would have to be flexible enough that it wouldn't jeopardize what we want to do with our program and our ability to be creative and innovative to help these ladies in a unique way.
And I heard one of the founders, Denny's the founder of Mama's Hands and House of Hope, and his wife, Leslie, and I was talking with Leslie when I had the first chance to come out to Mama's Hands, and it takes $400,000 a year to run that, and you're usually have maybe about $300,000, so that means that you're at a negative of $100,000 that you're working through every year, and that's just based on where it's at right now. I'm assuming that those costs go up as time goes on, just like all other costs increase. And, you're taking care of all of the food and everything for the women, correct?
Right. Well, yes, some of the women do have food stamps and some money of their own, but we are definitely there to provide that if needed. So, yeah.
And Heather had mentioned about, and I've heard this a few times, the women and being able to go to college or get schooling. So where does the funding come from that?
Well, women that are interested in going to college, we help them out with the FAFSA so that they can try to get financial aid for that.
Okay, all right.
Typically, the women that are there have some money coming in, but it's very, very minimal.
Okay.
And so when they're looking to do something else like that, it's either financial aid or, they might get a job, a part-time job, if that's something that suits where they are in their progress at that time. We are not in a position to pay for college. And those kind of things, but we are in a position to help them find ways to
find
make
the
those
resources to make it happen.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think that's that is such a strong word, because there are resources for everything, but you've got to be in the right connection and the right group to get those resources. And the Money Hour, my show is an example. I'm an expert in mortgages, and if you have any questions on what you need for mortgages, anyone in the office, they're always coming to me. That is my expertise. But in our finances, you have your financial planning, your accounting. I mean, there's so many areas of financing. And so that's really what the show is about, is having a community of experts, the best of the best of what they do, coming together and sharing their information. So it's the same thing with Mama's Hands. It's all of the resources and all of the experts coming together to help these women in all the areas that they need. Yeah,
we meet with the women. We're interacting with them all the time, of course, but once a month, Denny and Leslie and I meet with the women and talk about their goals. What were their goals for last month? Where are they at right now? What are their goals for the upcoming month?
Yeah.
And a lot of that does lead to financial conversations. I would like to get a car, or I'd like to go to college or whatever. And then we can work with them, and figure out a plan and get them through those goals so that when we meet the next month, we can see some progress through that.
That's great.
But it's not just, you want to go to college? Well, good luck. No, we will pick up the phone right then and there as our women know and start helping out.
Okay. So Heather, could you share with my listeners just the everyday life of the residents? I mean, you being a resident of the House of Hope for a year before you came on, and now you're actually staff and you're the house mom. Mm-hmm. And so what is it like for the women there?
I would say that it is a very peaceful and home environment. Like Amy said, it definitely doesn't feel like a shelter.
No, I will say firsthand, it definitely does not feel like a shelter.
It's very much a home. And so the women who move in, usually when they first arrive, they're in a state of trauma. And they will need a little bit of time to rest and to heal just a bit. But the daily life goes on like any other person's family home. In the morning, everybody's up, the kids are getting ready, everybody's running around trying to get up to the school bus, doing what they need to do. During the day, the moms with the younger ones will be with their infants or children. Okay. Some go to work, some go to school, and then in the evening, just like a regular home as well, women cooking and cleaning and watching children. And
I love the open concept. I mean, and House 2, the big long tables that I could just visualize. I mean, I wanted to move in. I wanted to move in to experience the community, and that I was just so blown away. And forget the houses they're gorgeous, but that has nothing to do with the environment, your surroundings, nature. I'm a big nature girl. So just the nature is soothing and peaceful. And so that, and then the community I just envision, and I got a small little piece of it talking with the mothers. Just a very small piece. But I could imagine when I went to House 2 and I saw the tables, I was like just all the women and the children eating together, and it's a whole open concept, and it's beautiful. So what about the children when they get there? Because these women, as you said, they're in some type of trauma going on. And so I coming in and just really being able to just slow down and rest and get themselves together. Then they have these little babies. They've got their kids that they're responsible for. They're responsible for these little lives, and they're having a hard time getting things together. So how do the kids adapt to this change?
The kids love it at the House of Hope, honestly. It is a wonderful place for the children. They have friends. We have bikes that we give to all of the kids. The nature, just the environment itself is very conducive to happy children, period.
Yes. Well, there's a zip line out there too, which is pretty awesome.
Yes, and we have an amazing playroom.
Yes,
I've worked as a preschool teacher, and honestly, it's nicer than some of my preschool classrooms.
It's unbelievable. It's like a house all on its own that has everything in there, way up top, and with the woods behind you, and
they call it the Taj Mahal.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the kids, kids are they're very resilient. And it is very unfortunate that a lot of the kids have come from some very traumatic situations.
Yeah.
They've seen more than children should have to see. But they are resilient. And as their mothers grow and heal, and they have the chance to be there at the House of Hope, to have the stability that it offers, to have the time to heal, the time to play, the time to just be little kids.
Yeah.
They do great. And they are, oh gosh, we have some really, really cute kids and beautiful babies up there.
Yes.
So they're definitely all a joy, very much, very much.
So Heather, what about the transition when they leave the house? I mean, I asked the transition for the women, but I mean, because it is such a beautiful environment, such a community. And like you said, the women stay connected. But what about the children? I mean, is it hard for them to leave and move on to have their own little place from coming from this great community?
I think that that's an interesting question because yes, the little ones make lifelong friends too, as well. So it's really nice to see the children as the mothers come back. The children come back with them. They just come to check in. It's really nice to see the children as they grow. So a lot of them make their friends, and they keep the friends that they've made while they're there. And they're welcome to come back to have a nice day on the zip line or ride the bikes and just enjoy the property and be with each other.
Nice.
And Tina, if I can just add to that.
Of course, Amy.
Part of the purpose of the purpose for the women of being there is getting their life back on track.
Yes.
And, like I said, progress and becoming self-sufficient. So when the kids that are school age are there, they have to go to school. Homeschooling isn't allowed. Sitting around watching TV isn't allowed. They go to school and they get that structure, which maybe they haven't had before. And that could be a bit of a transition, but I think it really is good in the long run.
Of course.
But the moms are working towards becoming self-sufficient. When they first come, they may not think, I want to go have an apartment of my own. That would be too overwhelming. 6 months, 9 months, a year later, 18 months later, the moms have gotten to a point where they're ready for that. And the kids have gotten to that point with them. So I don't think that when the kids are leaving, it's tearful, oh my gosh, I don't want to leave, because they have grown as a family into that. And they're looking forward with their moms to what that new life is with nothing but gratitude for the time that they've spent at House of Hope.
Well said, Amy. Thank you so much. Because unless you're in the environment and experiencing everything, I think this is probably I would imagine a question that everybody would have, especially if you've experienced and been to the property. So thank you for explaining that, Amy. So I'm going to go ahead and take it to break. Again, if you're listening, do not turn the channel. This is a very special show. As you know, as a regular listener, I usually have 3 guests, totally 3 different topics. And it's all about things that are important to us, our finances. But this is to the core of what's important. It's getting to a place to where you have finances and you can actually build a future from that. And so I'm just so privileged to have you guys here, and thank you so much. So coming up next, here with the women from House of Hope, right here on 1150 AM KKNW after this short break.
Mortgage fraud has been rampant since 2007. Many folks don't know they have legal rights. Find out if your mortgage loan has wrongdoings and fraud. Magnum Law Group will do a free audit of your loan documents. Facing foreclosure? Need to stop a foreclosure sale? Magnum Law Group can help. We have experts with valuable knowledge, and we get results. Have you decided to short sale your property instead of a foreclosure? Magnum Law Group has the experience to negotiate better and faster for you.
Hi, this is Deborah with Magnum Law Group. Please contact us at 425-454-4300. You can visit our website at www.magnumlawgroup.com or call us at 425-454-4300.
This is the Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, on Alternative Talk, AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage and finance expert, Tina Mitchell.
Welcome back to the Money Hour with your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, right here on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, March 14th show. I'm dedicated to my listeners providing you with the tools needed to make informed decisions on matters that affect your money. If you're hearing the show at a different time or day, you're listening to a rebroadcast, please feel free to call into the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, it's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. Today's show, very special show, all about giving a big thanks out to Mama's Hands and House of Hope. And I have a couple of the women here representing of House of Hope today. And Amy, you say for the House of Hope, it's really a safe and happy and be loved.
Right.
And I think that's beautiful. And so I want to start out with our last segment here, asking about the women group, again, women in the group and the community, again, being able to be there and experience this. Heather, there's a lot of women, a lot of different personality types. And as we all know, we've mentioned on the show, I mean, obviously there's women that have some type of crisis that's going on, and you're helping them get to that safe place in their life. How do they adapt with each other and get along? Are there conflicts that happen? And how is it with that respect, Heather?
I would say that the main goal for the House of Hope is to find women that, in general, would like to get along with other people. But we're humans.
Of course.
And we have bad days, and we have issues and problems that we're working through. When conflict arises, usually we try to work with the women to overcome the crisis or the issues that they might be having with each other.
Okay.
So there is all sorts of things, even with people's children. Sometimes it's difficult when you have different parenting styles and different expectations. I think that our main focus is that we remain respectful of other people, that we don't want to gossip about other people. And that we just really want to encourage one another and understand that even though people are different, or you might not agree with or do things the way that they do, that's okay. But it's about learning to be flexible and learning to get along and remembering the big picture of the fact that this group of women, while many of them have been through multiple things, they do have a lot in common. Yes. And they are friends. And that's really what comes first. So I think just like any friendship where there's going to be bumps in the road,
sure,
you need to look at that and figure out how you can deal with that in the most respectful and mature way possible. And then you go from there. So.
Yeah. Well, and as you mentioned, too, in the screening process, Amy, which you talked about in one of our last segments, really just going through and making sure that the women that are coming into the home, because there's 9 beds, there's 9 spots, and so it's very unique of what you're offering and have available is through that screening process, and they all have the same goal. They're ready to do what they need to do to get to that next step for them and their children. So it makes sense that you just figure out how to make things work, even though you're all in the house together with all different personalities and all different parenting styles, as you mentioned. So where do the women come from?
The women come from all over.
Okay.
In general, most of the women that are at the House of Hope have come from the general Seattle, King County area.
Okay.
We've had women from other states who have left the state that they were previously in, looking for hiding. So we've had women from other states, and we've had some women from other countries.
Wow.
That have been at the House of Hope as well. The women come from, well, obviously, they're in a state of homelessness.
Yes.
That can be due to multiple things. Sometimes there are women who have left domestic violence situations, and there isn't anywhere that they can go that is safe for their family. And so it's available as a safe place for them to go. Usually there are women that have had issues with alcohol and drug abuse, and just maybe house fires or any number of tragedies that can end up happening where it only takes one thing and they've fallen through the cracks all of a sudden. I would say that regardless of a lot of the situations, I have found that there is sometimes a history of not necessarily being able to rely on their family for support.
Sure.
That's just not an option. And so there is a lot of history with the women in their childhood. Common theme will be abuse or neglect, alcoholism, drug abuse, those sorts of things that already affected them in a way that they were not necessarily as strong as they could have been. And so when the waves came, the boat tipped. And they end up in a homeless situation. So they come from all over, all walks of life, and but they make it there.
Yeah. And, and I don't know what the statistic is, but I know that it's high, where they say that, there's a lot of people that are one paycheck away from being homeless. And as you mentioned, that a paycheck away, the reason they don't become homeless is because they have a family that they can go to. When, it can be a health issue that comes up. You mentioned like a house fire. I mean, there's all these things that could happen. And if you don't have the reserves and you don't have any resources to help. So I wish I knew what that percentage. You know what that percentage is, Amy?
I don't, but I actually like to say that we're all just a couple paychecks and or a couple bad decisions away from being homeless, because it's not always about money.
Yes.
Sometimes we just make bad decisions.
Yeah, that's a good point, Amy. So what about challenges? What are some of the challenges that are that the women are facing?
Gosh.
I mean, I know the list is we all are facing challenges, but what is the most common challenges that your women are facing?
Well, they're coming to us in a state of crisis.
Yes.
So they're dealing with their own crisis. They we may have a woman come who has just had a baby, and the baby's still at the hospital, and she's waiting to get it back, and then dealing with that. Maybe we have some very young mothers out there. The list is very, very long. And then dealing with the fact of the situation that you're in. There's a lot of gratitude from the women that come to us, but it's a very humbling experience to ask for help like that, and then to have to get along with other women. And just to kind of follow up on what Heather was saying earlier, we have had situations where some of the women just aren't getting along, but if they're a good fit for our program, but sometimes the personalities don't work, then we'll move them between houses.
I was going to say, because you've got three, and that makes total sense. Do you ever have a situation to where things just can't work out and you have to ask one of the women to leave because they're not? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That happens a little, not frequently, but it does happen. Again, we have rules that they need to follow, and we have expectations on them, and we are looking for progress.
Yes.
And if they can't follow the rules, which are very simple, curfew, don't eat in the living room, or, these are things anybody would have in their home.
Of course.
If they're not following the rules, or they're causing trouble with other women, or, one of our rules is that if there's an abuser, you cannot be in contact with your abuser.
Okay.
And if you are in contact with that person, you just put everybody at risk out there. So there's a list. And again,
so how does that, because it's when you're a family, you're in a community, you're all living together. How does that get monitored? How does that, if one of the women they pick up the phone and they call their abuser, and another woman is it confidential, and the women are really encouraged to come to you, Heather, as the house mother, or to Denny and Leslie as the founders, or Amy, you as director? How does that work?
Whoever they would feel comfortable coming to. The women are really good at kind of policing each other.
Okay.
They come there alone with their children.
Yep.
They may form relationships that will last a lifetime.
Yes.
They may not.
Okay.
But in order to get into our program, it means they're focused on themselves.
Of course.
And as much as they may love the other women there and form those friendships, they are there to work on themselves. So when somebody else puts that work in jeopardy, they will do something about it, because that's not what they're looking for anymore.
Okay. And I would imagine that one of the challenges, and that's, again, I just feel so blessed to be able to come and share my inspirational break with the women on a quarterly basis. But I would imagine one of the biggest challenges is just the confidence, and really just the women. And I felt that from my first experience in being there, is just building that confidence. And I've had some challenges of my own growing up, but the one thing that I didn't have is I didn't have parents that gave me all of the confidence to move forward, and and I think that's a key part that you need to help be successful in life. And it's I call, for me, it's a map to success, but map to success is not about success in money. I've been very privileged myself as a hard worker to be able to provide a lot for myself and my family because of my confidence. But it's really about your map to success is about the confidence you have here, the person that you are and what you have to offer to others. So is that a challenge that you see that's common with a lot of the women, that they just don't have that?
I would say so, and I would never define success by finances.
It's not, and that's what I'm saying, though, is map to success is not about finances. It's about your success that you have here.
It's really true. Being able to look at yourself in the mirror and know that you're living the best life that you can.
Yes.
I think there definitely is a confidence issue when women are coming to us, obviously in crisis. A lot of times they've, either emotionally and or physically been beaten down so much that they don't have that confidence. I'm a hugger. Denny's a hugger.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of love that goes on around there, and there's a lot of support. Like I said, we're always interacting with the women. What are they interested in doing? How can we support them?
Sure.
And really help them do it, not do it for them. Help them find out how to do it, and they get that confidence a little bit every day.
So there's another resource that you're providing at the House of Hope, is really building up that confidence that they've lost because of the
belief in
challenges.
Them.
Yes,
we believe in them.
Yeah,
we absolutely believe in them from day one when they come in.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So on that note, I want to wrap up the show, and I want to talk about success. So share with my listeners, because everybody loves stories, and especially success stories, especially in an environment that these women are facing and challenging right now. Can you share, Heather, a success story with my listeners?
Yes, I'm thinking of one particular resident, for instance, that had moved into the House of Hope. She came from across the country. Mm-hmm. She had been married for quite some time, 25 years, to a very abusive man. She showed up at the House of Hope with her children in a state of disarray, chaos, sadness. But you could see, as a mother, she was a strong mother, mm-hmm. and she just needed a little step to move forward in life. And it is really interesting on the topic of the self-esteem. As you watch the women as the time goes by, watching their self-esteem grow, mm-hmm. believing in themselves, realizing their gifts and talents, and really believing that the gifts and talents that they have, they can use those in the world. Mm-hmm. And this particular woman, she was very friendly, so a lot of the other women really liked her. And I watch as there's a building up between the women as well, that we build each other up there. And as time went by, she became stronger and happier, and she left the House of Hope and moved into a home with her children. And she's someone that I still keep in contact with. It's just really neat to see that it doesn't stop after they leave the House of Hope.
Yeah,
they still continue. It's a path. It's ingrained within you. It starts a different process in the way that you think when you're there, to be positive about who you are, to love yourself, to know that you deserve good things, to realize that you are a talented and gifted person, and that these are things that you can give to the world, to just see that. And I gave an example at one of our meetings that what we're doing right now at the House of Hope is we're planting seeds. Mm-hmm. And we're caring for those seeds, and we're giving them water, and we're taking good care of those seeds and watching them grow into little plants. And at first they might be they might need some protection and some help. But as time goes, they're growing into trees, and there's roots that are going down and branches that are going out. And as the time goes by, as the women leave and are on their own, you see the tree forming in their lives and in their children's lives, which will make a difference for generations to come. So it's really a wonderful thing to watch.
Heather, if you haven't already done this, you need to write that down. Put it up.
So beautiful.
That was so beautiful. Write it down in your journal so that you have it, and then write it down and put it up on one of those poster boards. And I noticed you guys have lots of inspiration and things that the women are sharing. It was beautiful, and you can tell that really comes from a place of your heart. And you need to write that down, Heather.
I will do that.
So thank you so much. That ends our show. I want to thank all three of you for being in studio. You only got to listen to two today, but I appreciate all three of you being here, and I appreciate everything that you're doing for those women. Again, I appreciate the opportunity to come out and visit, and I love everything that you're doing. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much, Tina.
And that was from the House of Hope, also Mama's Hand. Mama's Hands feeds the homeless. House of Hope homes the homeless women and their children, and really helps them to get to a better place for themselves and their children. This is your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, signing off for the day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I will be here same time, same place next weekend, right here at 1150 AM KKNW. Thanks, everyone.
The preceding program is paid for by Absolute Mortgage, a division of Pinnacle Capital Mortgage Corporation. Absolute Mortgage Company, NMLS number 81395 and Washington CL number 81395, is an equal opportunity housing lender. Tina Mitchell, MLO number 145420, is a licensed loan originator with Absolute Mortgage. Visit absoluteloans.com or call 888-90-HOMES for cost information.